go with the prayers. Huh? Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Giri Varadari Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Giri Varadari Yashodanam Dana Braja Jana Ram Jana Yashodanam Dana Braja Jana Ram Jana Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare. Welcome everyone for the Bhagavatam discussion today. And today's verse is 3rd canto, 6th chapter, and which verse, Prabhu? 37. So, it is a very important verse also. So, hopefully, we will try to memorize it right away when we are reciting now. So, the discussion going on is Udva, not Udva, Vidura met Maitreya Muni and he was asking many questions. And one of the questions he asks is, there is custom everywhere in this world. Can you please tell ways to get over that custom? Custom is unhappiness. Sukhaya karmani karoti loko. He says everyone is endeavoring for happiness, but what to speak of getting happiness, but they get more entangled in unhappiness. So then Vidura asked Maitreya, please help us out. Please speak the Bhagavatam to us. And then he asked some more questions, specifically how Krishna created this whole material creation, material world. And specifically he asked about Purusha Avataras activities of the Purusha Avataras. And Maitreya Muni was going on and on and on. And then he nicely explains everything. And at this section, he really becomes very humble. He gets amazed seeing the capabilities and wonders and magic of Krishna. So with that, he feels very humble. This is so far I'm able to explain. And then he speaks this verse. This verse, what he says is, Ekanta labam. Ekanta, one. Ekanta, if you want to, get the, if you want to do one thing, the best thing to gain labam, profit, or, to welfare for all the people, Ekanta labam, vachasa napumsam. By discussions, vachasa means discussion, napumsam, shushloka mauler. Shushloka mauler means pious. The Prabhupada says it's a pious, sloka. Is there? I'm not connecting. You have it? Oh, here. Susloka means, we also know Krishna is known as pious actor, or one who is praised by the wonderful qualities. Susloka, Mauler, Gunavadam, all the qualities. Ahuhu, said to be. Shutes means hearing. Cha Vidvadbir. Vidvamsas, the learned people. Vidvadbir. Upakrutayam, whatever is told by them. Katha Sudayam, by hearing the Katha, or the nectarian Katha, Sudha Katha, Upasamprayogam. So one will attain the ultimate benefit. Or one will, actually, this word says one will come nearer to the best benefit. Okay? Ekanta labam. If you want to do any good to yourself, pumsam, ekanta labam, vachasona pumsam, shushloka mauler, gunavada mahuhu. We have to hear about the guna vadam, the activities of Shushloka mauler, pious actor Krishna. Shutes, that was sung by learned people, Vidvadbir Upakrutayam, and that Katha Sudayam will get one closer to the ultimate benefit. Okay, we'll recite the verses now. Ekantalabam vachaso nupumsam susloka mauler gunavada mahuhu shutescha vidvadbir upakrutayam Katha sutayam upasamprayogam Ekantalabam vachaso nupamsam Ekantalabam vachaso nupamsam Susloka mauler gunavada mahuhu Susloka mauler gunavada mahuhu Shutescha vidvadbir upakrutayam Shutescha vidvadbir upakrutayam Katha sutayam upasamprayogam Katha sudayam upasamprayogam. You got the flow of this verse, right? Or should I tell it again before you all recite? Okay, you all can say, recite it. Ekantalabam vachaso nupumsam Suslokamaulergunavadamahuhu. Shrutesta vidvadbhirupakrutayam. Khatha sudayam upasamprayogam. Ekantalabam vachaso nupumsam. Suslokamaulergunavadamahuhu. Shrutesha vidvadbhirupakrutayam. Khatha sudayam upasamprayogam. Ekantalabam vachaso nupumsam. Suslokamaulergunavadamahuhu. Tayam. Shrutesha vidvadbhi upakrutayam. Khatha sudayam upasamprayogam. Ekantalabam vachaso nupumsam. Suslokamaulergunavadamahuhu. Shrutesha vidvadbhirupakrutayam. Khatha sudayam upasamprayogam. Ekantalabam vachaso nupumsam. Suslokamaulergunavadamahuhu. Shrutesha vidvadbhirupakrutayam. Khatha sudayam upasamprayogam. Ekantalabam vachaso nupumsam. Suslokamaulergunavadamahuhu. Shrutesha vidvadbhirupakrutayam. Khatha sudayam upasamprayogam. So that's it. That's the power of saying and hearing Krishna from pure devotees. Ekanta, the one which has no comparison. Labam, gain. Vachasaha, it's not the meaning for this ekanta, what Prabhupada says. The one which has no comparison. Similar glorification is there for the association of pure devotees in the first canto. Tulayama lave napi na swargam na punarbhavam bhagavad sangya samgasya kim matyanam utasishaha. What is there to compare with the moments of association with the pure devotee in comparison to anything else in these 14 worlds. So similarly, ekanta, like one which has no comparison. Labam, gain. Vachasaha, by discussions. Na pumsam, after the Supreme Person. Susloke, pious, maule, activities. Gunavadam, glorifications. Ahu, it is so said. Shute, of the ear. Cha, also. Vidvadbhi, the learned. Upakrutaya, being so edited. This is also important word, upakrutayam, being so edited. Prabhupada is also encouraging the editing here. Katha Sudayam, in the nectar of such a transcendental message, Upasamprayogam serves the real purpose or being nearer to. Okay? Prabhupada's translation. The highest perfectional gain of humanity is to engage in discussions of the activities and glories of the pious actor. Such activities are so nicely arranged in writing by the greatly learned sages that the actual purpose of the ear is served just by being near them. This verse has really like multifold. You can take it in any direction and takes it to the auspicious point. You can go, like in Atmarama verse can be explained in 64 different ways. Similarly, this verse can be taken in 64 different ways, and then the flower still blossoms. Purport. The impersonalists are very much afraid of hearing the activities of the Lord because they think that the happiness derived from the transcendental situation of Brahman is the ultimate goal of life. They think that anyone's activity, even that of the personality of Godhead, is mundane. So we also go through this experience sometimes, right? You really got inspired and, feeling happiness from it. And even if someone is telling something higher, we say, no, I don't want to disturb myself, right? We internally protect it ourselves, even if not externally. But the idea of happiness indicated in this verse is different because it relates to the activities of the Supreme Personality who has transcendental qualities. The word gunavadam is significant because the qualities of the Lord and His activities and pastimes are the subject matter for the discussion of devotees. A rishi like Maitreya is certainly not interested in discussing anything pertaining to mundane qualities. Yet, he says that the highest perfectional stage of transcendental realization is to discuss the Lord's activities. Srila Jeva Goswami, therefore, concludes that topics regarding the transcendental activities of the Lord are far beyond the transcendental realization of Kaivalya happiness. Krishna is the reservoir of pleasure. The meaning of the word Rama means he's a reservoir of pleasure. Everyone is looking for happiness, and Krishna, God, is a reservoir of pleasure. And the particular feature of the reservoir of pleasure, we say Rama. And this is far beyond any other happiness. These transcendental activities of the Lord are so arranged in writing by the great sages that simply by hearing of these narrations, one becomes perfectly self-realized. And the proper use of the ear and the tongue is also achieved. Srimad Bhagavatam is one of such great literatures, and the highest perfectional stage of life is attained simply by hearing and reciting its contents. Nice, no? You all like it? Not everybody is liking it. Yes or no? Not liking. In the first canto, Vyasadeva, the author of all the Vedas, meaning there are perfect people in this world, and they are attaining perfection by following the manual of Vyasadeva. And he is giving perfection to all kinds of people in this universe. But lo and behold, he was having a trouble. He was having great unhappiness. Fortunately, his spiritual master Narada Muni comes and saves him. And when he follows the instructions of his spiritual master Narada Muni, this is what he comes to the realization. He says, it's from the 7th chapter, 7th text, from the first canto. Yasyam Vaishruyamanaya Krishne Paramapurushe Bhaktir Utpadyate Pumsa Soka Moha Bhayapaha. He says, Yasyam Vaishruyamanaya, by giving oral reception of who? Krishna Paramapurushe, the Paramapurusha Krishna. Then what happens? Bhakti utpadite pumsa, it just blossoms bhakti. And then soka moha bhayapaha. When that bhakti comes, there is nothing in this world that can that can give shoka or moha or even bhaya. Nothing can stand. So that's the glory of Krishna. That's the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Yesterday evening, we were reading a similar verse from the 4th canto. Let me see if I can bring it up. That is 4:22 and 22. 4:22, 22, 22. Yeah. Not this one. So 4:20 to 22, Sanat Kumara is telling that attachment for the Supreme can be increased by practicing devotion service, inquiring about the Supreme Personality of Godhead, applying Bhakti Yoga in life, worshipping the Yogeshwara, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and by hearing and chanting about the glories of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Because the reason is, these actions are pious in themselves. So, being the followers of ISKCON and being the followers of our wonderful founder Acharya, who has established 108 Krishna temples all over the universe, we also have the responsibility to carry that vigor and to share it with others. Yesterday when we are reading this verse, the devotee was telling, as I liked it very much, it inspiring me to hear more and more. Then there was a comment. Yes, the power, Krishna is all potent. The power is there in the process. But there is also something from our side in terms of the reception. So one of the example we hear is the story of Dundukari. So Dundukari was somehow involved in a lot of bad activities, so much so that when he dies, he becomes a ghost. And he tells, it's not easy. And then he requests his brother Gokarna to recite Srimad Bhagavatam. And he recites Srimad Bhagavatam for 7 days. At the end of the 7th day, Dundukari takes the form of Vishnu, 400 form like the Vaikuntha Vasis, and about to go back to the spiritual world. Then Gokarna asks, wait a minute, I am the one reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, and there are many people sitting and hearing. How is it that only you got this benefit, but not others? And that opens the key for us also. We also should take it at that level. I don't know if I can say this. In our devotee circles, we say, like when we have to leave the body, we have to leave the body voluntarily. And people say, many devotees, many says that it is in Krishna's hand, You don't know when will that happen. Things like that. But Srila Prabhupada did not do like that. Srila Prabhupada even extended his life for 10 more years. And then he left the body, planned. And not only Srila Prabhupada, his own disciples, Tamal Krishna Maharaj and many Maharajas, they're making their way out. So, we are given all the gifts. We have all the good fortune right at our doorstep. So it's only we have to do our part. We ask them, himself is saying, Yasyam Vaishruyamanayam. Just by hearing, one doesn't need to do any magic. You don't need to go out and do tapasya, or even, not even there is a recommendation that you need to chant so many rounds and so on. It's just a minimum basic 16 rounds. But you do the 16 rounds with that, eagerness and the quality. Bhakti Rudpadya Pumsa, it is going to sprout up bhakti. In a way, when it is going to sprout up bhakti, it is not like, the plant, after so much watering, it comes up, it takes a lot of time. It's like, pretty rapid. We also see in our own lives, the knowledge says, and practically in our own lives also, people try to get away from the bad habit, one bad habit, and they tried very hard, and it's rarely we hear that they were able to get over it. But we just come and hear Krishna, by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada and for his pleasure, we say it, we hear it nicely. That's it. Soka moha bhayapaha. What to speak of Soka moha bhayapaha? Actually, we are prepared to that spiritual identity. So that not going more details, but to give a gist of it. So here Prabhupada is explaining the impersonalists, they are afraid of this, but even in the impersonalists, just by hearing Krishna Katha, they just, Sukadeva Goswami, he was a perfect impersonalist. He was perfected in his, sadhana, and he has no interest anything in this world. But when he hears Krishna Katha, he just comes running back, and then he dedicates his life for the subject matter of Krishna. And then the next point from this purport is, when anything mentioned in the Srimad Bhagavatam or anything mentioned by the pure devotees, it has all potency. Prabhupada is explaining the word upakrutaya, means it's being so edited, because in the Vedic, in those Vedic olden days, people are so much after Upanishads. They were not giving so much value to the Puranas and Smritis. They say that it's not Upanishad, will not take it. But here in this chapter, Maitreya Muni was telling, this much I'm able to realize. Whatever I'm not explaining you fully what I have heard, this much I have realized, I'm sharing it with you. Even that, it is like, it is bringing a lot of devotion in me. So Prabhupada is encouraging that the words of pure devotee, the words of the Srimad Bhagavad Purana, by taking it, can attain highest perfectional state of life simply by hearing and reciting its contents. It's so arranged so that it will ease up our movement for this highest perfection realization, and it's a quick way, it's a fastest way. The reason the pure devotees or Srimad Bhagavatam is not giving the full details is the best. Srila Prabhupada did the similar thing in terms of translating the nectar of devotion. So he translated nectar devotion such a way that, that we can get the help of nectar devotion and then move up pretty quickly. So that's about the verse today. Ekanta labham, if you want to do any favor to ourselves, pumsam shishloka maler gunavadam, just here. Shutesha vidvadbir upakrutayam, that were told by the pure devotees or learned person, that kata sudayam upasamprayogam, it will take one to the perfection that we even are not able to, we cannot even think about what's that perfection it can take to that perfection. So that's about the Srimad Bhagavatam. That's about the words of the pure devotees. And that's about the Shushloka Mauler pious actors' activities. So just small sharing. Anyone wants to say anything? One second, Prabhu.
Please accept my humble obeisances, all goes to Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. So we hear so many times like the importance of hearing for our progress in Krishna consciousness and to bring in that purification in us. And I'm putting question on my behalf, or like which I have struggled keeping up with the hearing, like even though I start hearing Guru Maharaj and there are so many Vaishnavas, there are so many lectures available, there are so many things are available. Even every day our temple Bhagavatam class happens, but I'm not able to keep up. Like I was just curious, like what would be the right, besides even I don't read also, so at least I thought like hearing would be a good thing, but still I'm not able to keep up. Do you have any suggestions or like how I can improve on that hearing part?
First thing is, Prabhu, we should be convinced about the potency of hearing. We really need to educate ourselves. We need to be convinced about the hearing by hearing. we need to be convinced. That's the main important one. That's the first step. You have to get convinced. There is no other way. Shunvata swakata Krishna, Shavanam Kirtanam Vishnu Smaranam. Hearing. In Bhagavad Gita also, Krishna is telling like, how many times he says, hear me, to Arjuna. How many times we also to say to our children or even to others, like, I have really that block that, I don't speak when other people don't hear. So, so much is needed for hearing. So much, we need to get convinced, educate ourselves, motivate ourselves. Because without hearing, we cannot go. Because bhakti is not the process of, pratyakshavagamam, we cannot do it ourselves. We can experiment, we can see and then only do it. Then it will be very slow. It's pretty simple. Like, if you want to gain the experience quickly, we have to go to the experienced person. Right, Prabhu? So if you want to do it, then we have to do the whole research. How you have to do all the hard work. How to take the step, learn the lessons, and all those things. But we pick up the lessons that was already picked up by the experienced person. We are way quicker. Right, Prabhu? So we need to be really get convinced. That's number one. And then number two is practicality. So I have I have tried this one in my Bhagavatam reading. I started reading the scripture when I was like at most, at most down I can go. I think, my health was really down, the work situation is really high, and then there is a lot of traffic, all the situations. That's when I started reading. And then it was only like 1 page, 2 page, and there is no time. We cannot do it when the situations are tight. So then it's like, wow, it is like, the engine starts. Utpadyate, bhaktirutpadyate pumsaha. Actually the soul gets the strength. Without hearing, there is no strength. Even we may chant, but if you're not hearing, there is very little benefit because you are doing the ritual. It's a ritual when we are not doing it attentively. Right, Prabhu? And we cannot get much benefit. The example gives is like you have the heat, the lamp or something, and the pot is so high, we cannot feel it. So then we need to get convinced. And the second thing is practicality. Practicality is we may not be able to be seriously reading scriptures every day. It is not practical. But we have to read, reading the scriptures, hearing from the scriptures is very important. So, and it's also good when we do it, when we sit and do it, it is so good actually, right? So, but our life situations are there and we cannot be so serious like, like other devotees. Like, there we have Sundar Leela Mataji or Sandhya Mata, they're pretty serious devotees. We cannot be serious because we have work pressure or family pressure or health pressure and all those things. So we have to attend to those practicals, but we should not leave the conviction about the hearing, and we should dedicate at least once in a week. This is the time, that's it, with my hearing, with my, even when we are hearing classes, sit and hear and take the notes. We have to, not just hearing is not enough. Hearing only creating the good situation, but it will not take away, we will not be able to transcend. So we need to raise above our situations. Playing some lecture, playing some kirtan and all those things, you're maintaining. It's maintenance, that's all. It's not going to transcend us. Making sense, Prabhu? So we can do the maintenance. Other, 5 days or, 6 days or 7, out of 7 days, we should give the attention to Srimad Bhagavatam. Prabhupada says in the first canto, 3rd chapter, first canto, 3rd chapter, last verse, he says, somehow or other, if we give attention, we can see Krishna in the page of Srimad Bhagavatam. We have to meet Krishna. We want to practice Krishna consciousness, we have to meet. Right? And Vyasdev himself says, whoever, the second verse of the first canto, Dharma projita kaitvotra parmo nirmasara nam satam vedyam vastam atravasya savadam tapatrayun mulanam Srimad Bhagavate Mahamuni Krute Kimva Parer Ishvara Sadhya Hridi Avrudyate. You give the attention right there, Krishna is there. Then if you don't give attention, even if Krishna is giving attention to us, we cannot receive it. So that's the two things, Prabhu, the practicality and the conviction. And for sure, when we pay attention, we get energized and strengthened. So we have to build that up. We don't need to do any magical adventure, something like that. But we have to develop. When you are receiving the benefit, it is our responsibility to nurture it also. When we are receiving benefit and leave it, and when we want it again, we receive the benefit and leave it, it's the same old life. We cannot see all the gifts of the Srimad Bhagavatam is presenting. This verse is presenting Upasamprayogam. You get to nearer to the perfection, nearer to Krishna. Ekanta labham vachasona pumsam shloka maular. He is very potent. There is, there is no question from Krishna's side. It's so powerful. But we also should be, should put our, plug. We should plug ourselves to that channel. And it may not be like adventure. Little bit. We have to give that attention. But most of the times we feel like, I cannot give a break. I have to continue. And then, we just push our rounds or put our sadhana, keep going. Then we come to the point, it's not working. Other people are happy. Other people are even successful. What to speak of happiness?
I'm in that boat.
So all those things. But as I was telling Srila Prabhupada, how powerful he is. Recently Tejas Prabhu posted that small video by Radhika Raman Prabhu telling Srila Prabhupada, saying that even just by reading whatever he says, it has, so much potency. It is, everybody is working hard, so we need to sharpen our reception, Prabhu. It is not just we must do it, because it reflects on him, on all his hard work. So then, when we do it for him, then we will see a new world. It's a beautiful world, other side. And the challenges will be there. Challenges are nice. Krishna tries to hold us. We keep falling down. Falling down is very nice. It's a blessings for us. So that we will look to Krishna very easily.
Yeah. In my case. At least in my case, I need to realize that I'm falling down and I need to look at Krishna.
No, we don't need to. We don't need that. Krishna will take care. When we pay attention to him once in one moment, that's enough. Krishna will take care. Because he is so eager, because what to do? He is not able to get away from the loving relationship with all of us. Right? He says, no matter how much people turn away, he says, he is my part and parcel. Mame vamsa jiva loke. He's not able to get away from us. He'll take care of that part. Yeah. Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, Prabhu. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Shri Guru Mataji.
I'm working a little hard to hear.
Okay.
Maybe you can take the microphone away.
Now can you hear?
Okay.
Okay. So this question is about how Shukadev Goswami becomes a personalist. That is just like we know how the Kumaras became personalists. Similarly, you were just referring to Shukadev Goswami when his father called him back and started reciting Srimad Bhagavatam. He sat down to hear it. But I had a memory, Prabhu, that Shukadev Goswami was self-realized because he was taught Bhagavatam by Vyasadeva even while he was in the womb. Is that right?
I didn't hear that one.
That one is not really right.
He was self-realized through the Jnana Marga.
Through Jnana Marga.
Yeah.
I mean, he was not hearing Bhagavatam while he was in the womb.
Not from the Bhagavatam.
Oh, so his father called him back and then he started hearing first time, is it? From his father.
Started?
Yeah, like he was running away as soon as he took birth, and his father called him back by reciting Bhagavatam slokas, and then he learned from his father at that point. Is that how it is?
Yeah.
That part I was not very clear. And that is.
So it was mentioned in the first canto, right, Prabhu? First canto, last chapters. And then he also tells in the second canto, in the beginning chapters, I learned it from my father. And I shall narrate this Srimad Bhagavatam to you.
Okay.
He says, he himself says that in the second canto, first chapter. I don't know why the internet is not working.
It,
Yeah.
I mean,
It is in the like first 10-15 verses he says that I myself heard from my father.
Okay. I mean, we don't have other references to it, like other scriptures or anything.
I don't go to other scriptures.
Just wanted to make sure, Thank you.
I don't know about other scriptures. I also don't go to other scriptures.
Hare Krishna.
I didn't cover my now the script, the one we have. So much is there in the Bhagavatam. Why, and the Prabhupada is there. Why need for other scripture? Yeah. Please share something, Sundarilala Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. It's really wonderful listening from you about glories of Srimad Bhagavatam. It's even the verse, it was stuck in my brain. I have to, it's so good, so it will stay all through my day today. So, you were discussed about so many things, Prabhuji. For me, I do daily sadhana. I think I do. Hearing, I do sometimes, but reading every day, I do Bhagavatam, reading in the evening. So reading is done, and I do hear in the morning, but it's only for 30 minutes. So I'm lagging about the service part. And I hear from a lecture saying that service and sadhana goes side by side. If you miss a service, you'll fall down. So my question to you is that true? Like if you don't do service, we'll fall down, though we have all the sadhana? I'm a little bit worried now. So
I think there must be context to it, Mataji. There must be context that if you don't do the service, we fall down like that. You able to hear me? Is it coming? Is it clear?
yes, Prabhuji, it's clear.
So I will read this one. You might like it. This is a nice verse as I was quoting the 4th canto, 22nd chapter, and where Sanat Kumar is telling to Prithu Maharaj that this hearing about Krishna itself is a pious activity. That's what he's telling. And Prabhupada is very nicely explaining, quoting Prahlad Maharaj. He quotes a couple of people in the sense that how not only Krishna is very powerful, even his devotees are very powerful, like that. And then he quotes then Narottam Das Thakur, he was telling, without serving a pure devotee, one cannot advance in spiritual life. This is a sentence here. Without serving a pure devotee, one cannot advance in spiritual life. That's what Narottam Das Thakur says. And then he quotes Prahlad Maharaj. That's a very nice section. So recently, Rompad Maharaj also gave a series on the Prahlad Maharaj prayers. And Hiranyakasipu was talking with Prahlad Maharaj and asking, what did you learn? And Prahlad Maharaj says, I don't think you will understand it. Then he says this verse, famous verse, Prabhupada also says in the Nectar of Instruction, 1st chapter, Matirna Krishna, the Krishna Mati is not going to happen by Parato Swatova, by one's own endeavor and others' endeavors. Or even the combination, Mividopi Padyata Grihavritana, and then one is on the path of just going down and down and down, achieving the achieved. Midopi Padyata Grihavrita, Adanta Gobir, Punascharvita Charananam. That was, that, right? And what basically Prahlad Maharaj is saying is, one in the bodily conception of life, he cannot help himself by his own endeavors. And then he says, he cannot be helped by others' endeavors. You cannot help you by yourself and by others. How about combination? He says, no. Then where is the saving grace for the people in the bodily conception of life? And then, after a couple of verses, Prahlad Maharaj says this verse, Naisha matistavat urukrumangrim sparsati anata apagamo yadartaha mahiya sampad rajobhashekam nishkinchanam nam virinita yavat. He says, anartha apagamo yad artha, anartha. So that anartha, mati na Krishna, the Krishna mati is not coming, right? That's an anartha. That anartha upagamam will happen. By how it will happen? Mahiyasam pada rajobhishekam. We have to do abhisheka to ourselves. What is that abhisheka we have to do with? We have to do our abhisheka with the dust from the feet of Nishkinchananam Bhakta. Right? So, then when Maharaj was saying this one, Gopal Hari Prabhu was asking this question, what does it mean? What is it? Bathing ourselves in the dust of the pure devotee. What does it mean to a new devotee? What does it mean to an experienced devotee? And then Prabhupada Maharaj says, I forgot to write it down, but it says just the hearing. So now I found a little reference for it. I will read this one for you. One should take shelter of a pure devotee who has nothing to do with the material world, but is simply engaged in devotional service. By serving him only, one can transcend the qualitative material condition. In this verse, it is recommended Yogeshwara Upasanaya, that one serves the lotus feet of the topmost yogi or the devotee. Here is a nice sentence. To serve the topmost devotee means to hear from him about the glories of the personality of Godhead. Nice, no? That to hear the glories of personality of Godhead from the mouth of a pure devotee itself is to acquire a pious life. So, the service Prabhupada is telling is the hearing. And moreover, if you're not hearing Prabhu, we are putting ourselves in a great danger. It's a very dangerous situation if you don't have the hearing. It's a very dangerous situation in this world. We cannot get away from here. We have to hear. We have to cultivate that habit. Because if you don't hear, it's just the karma rules over, and then there is no hope when the karma is ruling over the life of the people, of our lives actually. It is so dangerous. Yeah, so.
Thank you, Prabhuji. It's like I could feel some hope now. It's good. Thank you, Prabhuji.
And I was, there is another reference where Prabhupada is telling, Krishna was explaining about, Varnashrama in the 18th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. How, the Kshatriya's main qualities is this thing, Brahma Karma Sabhavajam, Kshatriya Karma Sabhavajam, and so on. For Sudras, the primary quality is service. And it was explained there that not only Sudra, everybody's quality is service. And that's a very important lesson Krishna is teaching, that through that Varnashrama, he is telling that we get purified from the modes, because otherwise modes are running the show. So basically there in that section, what Krishna was telling is, even if it is faulty, we have to do our own duties. So I may not be expert dancer like you. I may not be expert poet like you. Whatever it is, my swabhava that I need to offer to Krishna, that's a service. Because I'm not doing the dancing, then I cannot say that I don't have opportunity to serve, or I cannot say that's it, there is no hope. Just offer. there's things are laid out for us on the ground. It's just we need to pick it up. That's all. The moment we pick it up, it's going to energize, and bhakti rutpadeta pumsa. So that bhakti is not going to go away anywhere, but we go away. That's the reason I say at least once in a week we should do it. We should have the regulation to come back and then increase that slowly like that. Because we can, we are not the transcendentalists like that, like Srila Prabhupada, to do it 24 hours or 24/7 like that. At least I can tell about myself. But we need to, knowing this, we need to give some dedication. 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, whatever it is. And then we have to build up on it. And then it's going to be so beautiful. Then we really get to this Nishta Bhakti, right? Nasta Prayasha Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevya Bhagavati Uttama Slok Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki. The Bhakti becomes Nishta. You cannot leave. Krishna is intoxicating. You cannot leave Krishna that time. Okay, that's it, Prabhujis and Matajis. Close Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Gaur Premanandi Hari Hari Bol.
Krishna, 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.